Hello and welcome to RGU Talk, the official podcast of Robert Gordon University. I'm your host Johnny Milne, and with me this week is one of RGU's most popular lecturers from the School of Creative and Cultural Business. It's Dr Rachael Ironside. Rachel, welcome to RGU Talk.
Hello, thank you.
Well, I'll say right off the bat, I called you one of our most popular lecturers and you shook your head vigorously when I did that. But it's not just hyperbole, because last year RGU Union awarded you one of the lecturers of the year. So, I mean, how did that feel?
Yeah, really very, very honoured indeed. I think, you try your best, I think, through the year to try and make the students have a really nice and enjoyable experience through the course. But it's sometimes difficult to tell how they're getting on, and everyone's very busy. So, it was really very honouring, and I was very, very lucky to receive it. So,
and I understand the award wasn't just because of your teaching methods and your general attitude, but the caring for your students led you to spending the night on a floor of an Indian hospital. You need to tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, that's correct. It was part of a project we did a couple of years or a year and a half ago now called RGU Go India. We took 12 students from the school out to India to run a event over there, a health and wellbeing event. And unfortunately, a couple of weeks into the project, one of our students became quite ill, had got a bit of sunstroke, and ended up in the hospital. And we needed to stay with the student overnight, and because it was a female ward as well, I ended up staying with the student. Unfortunately, there weren't any sort of visitor facilities there, so there wasn't any beds or anything like that. So I ended up sleeping on the floor with the students with my little travel pillow, which I bought at the airport to keep me company. But it was fine. To be honest, the student I felt more sorry for her, because when she woke up in the morning, she woke up to see a bleary-eyed, pretty disheveled lecturer lying on her floor looking up at her. So I'm not sure she ever quite got over that sight. So
was it day in the life of an RGU student?
Yeah, and a lecturer too.
Now, you're a lecturer in events management here at RGU, and we're really here today to talk about the incredible festivals that your students have been putting on in recent years, both through the Aberdeen Student Festival and the main event. So how did these come about? How did these become part of the course?
So the main event's been running since the course started, really. So, 5 years. It's a fourth year module, and the idea of the main event was really to give the students the opportunity to apply all of the skills and the experiences that they learn through the course in events management to a sort of big final project. So they've got something to show for that at the end. The course is it's very employability focused as well. So we wanted to give them something fantastic they can put on their CV too. It was also a great opportunity to do something that had a bit of impact for the community as well. So the students put on a charity event for their selected charity and raise funds and awareness for them as well. So it came from really an intention to give students that experience, but also to create a bit of impact through the course as well for the community. And then, of course, there's the festival module, which is one of our third-year modules, and that's been around for a couple of years now. It evolved out of a music module that we had for the students, where the students put on a music event, and we wanted to give them a little bit more of a challenge, but also we were talking a lot with the likes of Aberdeen festivals and, again, the local community. And, obviously we're very aware that there's a move towards trying to create a more cultural scene in Aberdeen, and it seemed like a real opportunity for our students, who are incredibly creative and very connected to the culture in Aberdeen, to contribute towards that. So it came about through talking with Aberdeen festivals and finding a slot really that fitted for the students, and then we had Aberdeen Student Festival, and it's been very successful since then, and very enjoyable to work on, and hopefully for the students as well.
And for the students who do take part in the festival, what is it that is involved in that? What is it that they get to do?
What we do is we provide the students with a brief. So this year, the brief is to put on an arts and cultural event within the city, but also take into consideration the year of young people as well. So they've got lots of flexibility within that brief, but they should put on an event that sort of fulfills that. They work in smaller groups, so they're in groups of 8, and each of those groups puts on an event as part of the festival, so it's a separate event. But they also work together as a bigger festival team to create a sort of theme for the festival. So the last couple of years, that theme has been sort of multicultural events. So we've had lots of international type events through the festival. They're given a startup fund of £200 as well from the university, and the aim is that they make that money back by commercialising their events, so selling tickets or fundraising as part of that, and also that they raise additional funds for the charities that they're working with as well. And they have 11 weeks to plan and organise and deliver and evaluate that festival. So it's quite an intense module, and it's incredibly impressive what they managed to do in that short space of time.
And I understand it's won a number of awards, such as Student Event of the Year at the Scottish Event Awards. How does it feel for your programme and for the students' efforts over the years to have been recognised like that?
Oh, it's just amazing. It's a great thing for the students to put on their CV and also to be recognised. They put a lot of work into running the festival, and I really think they make a huge impact. So the last couple of years they've attracted over 450 people to the events. They've raised significant funds for the charities that they've been involved with as well, and they really bring a sort of different creative insight and inspiration to the city in that sense. So I really think it's great that they can be recognised for all of that effort that they put in.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned that the festival's third year project, and then the main event is final year. How big a step up is it from the one to the other?
It's designed to be a step up. So the festival gives a little bit of a bit more support to the students. So they get given a venue, they get given a time, and they're working in slightly bigger groups as well. So it takes the pressure off them in that sense. The main event in fourth year is a much bigger step up. They're given a lot more responsibility. They work in groups of 4 or 5 rather than the 8.
Okay.
And each of those have a role within it. So whether that's finance, whether it's fundraising, whether it's programming, marketing, they're working on their specific role of responsibility. And they're not given a brief. So they're solely responsible to work with the charity that they've been assigned and to come up with a whole new event idea, and that is part of it as well. So the charity that they work with, they are supposed to discuss with that charity and come up with an event that's new for the charity calendar as well, so that in the future the charity's got an event they can take forward and have that sort of sustainability for the future as well. So it is a big step up, but I think the festival module provides that sort of helping hand to then take on that bigger responsibility in fourth year.
And what kind of events have the students organised for the main event?
We've had a whole range, so and I think that's the exciting part for us actually. Absolutely, every year is kind of looking forward to the fabulous and weird and wacky and everything that comes out of it, and we do try to give that flexibility too. So I think some of the events that we've had about 45 events over the last kind of 4 years. We had a couple of years ago the Daffodil Drive-In, which was a big drive-in cinema down at Portodry, raising money for Marie Curie. Last year we had an event called Sensorfest, which was a day festival held for Inspire, and it was for those that have learning difficulties, and it provided a sort of day where they can enjoy different sort of things related to the senses. So there was a nice sort of light display and all of those kind of things. We had a zombie themed survival event last year as well called Escape the Woods. We had the Affafine Artisan afternoon, which was up at Lochter Activity Centre, and that actually won Student Event of the Year at the Scottish Events Awards last year. And that was a fantastic event. They brought together, I think it was 26 stall holders from the local area who all produced sort of artisan products. And it was very much about promoting that. And they had a big family day. So they had Doric storytelling, and they had felt making, and they had local musicians and things like that. And again, I think they had over 400 people through the doors for that. And this year we've got a whole range of them planned. So we've got FamFest, which is a family fun day taking place. We've got a Mother's Day Bonnie brunch. We've got a fitness event, which is the Aberdeen Boot Camp. So if anyone wants to take on the challenge of sort of rolling around in the mud, so that's
definitely not me.
That's coming up. We've got Boogie Bingo, and we've got the Mad Scientist Mixology as well, which is a cocktail masterclass. So you can probably tell from that it's a whole range of different events.
So yeah, they really get to use their creativity then.
Absolutely, yeah, and we very much encourage that, and it's very much their discussion with the charity and what they feel is going to be beneficial for that charity going forward.
So with all the charities that yourselves and the students have worked with over the years, I mean, can you tell us roughly how much money both the Student Festival and the main event have raised over the years?
Yeah, absolutely. We broke I think it was 2 years ago now, it would have been, we broke the 100 grand mark for the main event. We're now at about 120 grand, I think, from last year that the students have raised through that. And it was only last year that we started running the festival for charity as well. So they raised just over £5,000 for the two festivals, which was Diabetes UK and Erskine. So yeah, I guess we're at about £125,000 that the students have raised over the years.
And obviously, as you mentioned, I mean, another benefit for the charity is that they can take these events forward after the students have designed them. Of course, you're no stranger to charity yourself. Am I right in thinking that you climbed Kilimanjaro with your mother-in-law last year?
I did, yeah.
Putting people like me to shame, definitely.
It was an incredible experience actually, and an endurance test for sure. So it was 6.5 days of trekking up and a day and a half down, and we had to trek through the night from 10 o'clock at night through to 7 a.m. in the morning to get to the top of the summit. So but it was just absolutely stunning, and I think it's good to test yourself with these things. And it was my mother-in-law's bucket list to do. She decided a couple of years ago, and we just went for it, and she was amazing because she hadn't really done anything like that before. So with a sort of year and a half of training, she managed to climb the highest mountain in Africa. So I was incredibly proud of her, and incredibly proud of us for getting
but say proud of yourself as well. You did it too.
Yeah.
Now, Rachel, while you're an events management lecturer, your PhD is actually in paranormal experiences.
That's correct.
And your current research is focused on supernatural tourism. So we're absolutely going to have to get you on to talk about that. That's a whole other episode in itself. But before we finish, one quick question. What's the spooky, and it's completely nothing to do with what we've been speaking about, but what's the spookiest place you've ever been to?
I've been to some pretty spooky places. I guess that's part of the research area. I've been to Fyvie Castle, the Toll Booth, various sort of spooky prisons and things like that over the years. But actually the spookiest place I've spent the night, because you end up doing these things in this line of research, it's actually Aberdeen Central Library, which is not where you would think of, but there's some pretty good spooky stories from there, and it's a creepy place to be at night. So next time you go and take your book out from the library, you can think about that.
Well, Dr. Rachael Ironside, thank you so much for joining me today.
No problems. Thank you very much.
And thank you everyone for listening to another episode of RGU Talk. On behalf of the university, I've been Johnny Milne, and we'll talk to you later.